Welcome all to the fourth episode of Bergvliet Cricket Club's podcast, Seeing Off the New Ball. This is the podcast where we recap the past weekend's action. It was a pretty somber weekend for the club as only our twos managed to get a win, with the rest falling to defeats. My name is Greg Armstrong, your host today. On the panel, crowd favourite Calvyn. How are you doing, mate?
Yes, very well, lads. 12 o'clock on a Friday, the weather looks good no matter what Dan Steyer says about living in Cape Town. There's always rain.
And we've got two massive guests joining us today.
All drum roll.
Sean Kenny Vassafal and first team captain this weekend, Lloyd Bernard. How are you doing, gents?
Good morning, boys. Good, thank you.
Morning. Doing very well. Thanks for the invite.
Big news about Lloyd Bernard is that he's been called up for the first as the skipper.
I think
Bergvliet need to win the toss this week, and that's why we brought in a toss winner.
We'll workshop a better way to come out, or a better way to describe a winner of the toss. Let's just talk about the elephant in the room here. Kenny, where's your nickname come from? Because many people don't know who you are at the club. Do they know Sean or do they know Kenny? What's the story? Set the record straight here.
So I was actually christened at birth as Sean, but many years ago on a band tour, we had smoked a lot of what Jamie and Joyce smoke, and ended up having a lot of hair out the window in a car, and someone said, "Hey, you look like Kenny Rogers." And it just stuck. The most important question, no, it's nothing to do with Kenny from South Park. It's nothing to do with South Park. I have no affiliation with South Park whatsoever.
Okay. I've only ever known you as Sean, and it's been a funny thing because I'm always like, hey guys, did you guys see what Sean said in the message and Sean said in the group? And everyone's like, who's Sean? I'm like, I don't know. Sean. Like the guy's name said Sean on iPhone. I don't know who you guys are talking about. They're like, oh, Kenny. I'm like, isn't Kenny like a guy who left the club like 20 years ago? Isn't he like the old guy who played at the club? Since I've been around, I've been so confused about the Sean and Kenny thing.
I know the story, Kenny, but I always thought it was Kenny G, not Kenny Rogers.
Kenny G.
I think it was Kenny Rogers. Now you've got me confused. Maybe it was Kenny G. I don't know. It was some old folk singer from America.
So we're going to get straight into it, lads. Fourth team, the Titans. They hosted Bergvliet Cricket Club at Frankfurt over the weekend. Not much to go on in terms of the game. I saw Tim's update in the results column. 62 all out, a big loss for the Titans. So what's the chat on the ground? I mean, there's a few standout performers from that team, but what's the mood in the camp there?
It's a bit 50-50. Did Tim know about this? Is that why he didn't put his hand back up for captaincy? We'll never know. Elaine's on the win one, lose one, which gives him a 50% record. I think Tim's record's a little bit higher. Does Tim take captaincy back again, or does he keep it in Elaine's hands?
The Titans got a big weekend. Or actually, no, they postponed this weekend. So down tools for this weekend for them. But just while we've got Craig Griffin up on screen, I've got a passion project to get off the ground here. Can we get Craig Griffin to 50 runs in a match this season? I mean, he took 7 wickets last year in a game. Can we get him over that 50 mark? Gents, do you think it's possible?
Maybe over the course of the season. That'll be an achievement. But we were chatting after the game on Saturday because Gigi was not out to get at the end, and I said to him, I think in the history of the club there can't be too many more not outs than what Gigi's accumulated over the whatever near decade it's been. It was another one on the weekend, and I mean I'd be interested to hear who you boys think over the years who might have more not outs for BCC than Gigi. But no, Flip, I think he needs to be getting more of a bowl. I think 7 wickets in a game last season should dictate that you get the ball in your hands a bit more. So hopefully whether it's Elaine or Tim tunes in this weekend, and maybe next time Gigi crosses the ropes, he gets a little bowl.
I see him raising the bat and getting a 50. He got last season.
There's not much else he needs to do in this club.
He's done everything. He's a legend. He's got.
If he gets his 50, I hope to see him in his camping chair next to the field with his sunglasses like we saw last season after his 7th.
I was just about to say that my favourite thing about him getting 7 wickets last season was the fact that he was definitely coming to watch the ones on the Sunday in his camping chair with his big sound box. and it was a trophy tour. It was the equivalent to Siya Khaleesi on an open top bus going down the streets of Cape Town. That was basically what he was doing. I mean, if he can get a 50 runs with the bat this season, I'm flying back for that big time.
GG, let's get there, boy.
All right, gents, moving on to the Thirsties. They travelled out to Ottoman's Cricket Club in their 3A clash. Unfortunately, another tough match for them. Managed to set Ottomans a good 215. Quite a few men getting off the board there. 4 batters between 28 to 31 runs. I see William Solomon got off the mark for himself this season on 29. And a young 16 from Wesley van Tonder. No doubt, just biceps in action there.
Gee whiz, I was wondering why he padded up yesterday.
Interesting stat. He told me high score for the club, 16.
Oh, what a lad.
Nice.
He deserves plenty more.
What a time for the young lad. And also Stephen Newton on camera right now. He managed to pick up 3 sticks, new player to the club, so top performance there. But ultimately the Thirsties just didn't have enough runs on the board. And here on screen we're looking at the final wicket that they took, but unfortunately falling 2 wickets short. So head up, gents. You'll get them this week. Then we move over to the ones. As I said on the top of the call, the bit of a somber mood in the camp, and you wouldn't think it with their losing their first match of the season. But we've got 3 men that can definitely comment on what's happening in the camp. What's the mood in the camp at this stage, boys?
Oh, the feels are hard. It was almost like a loss of a family member. Adam gave them all Tuesday off. So, they all got a day off. And they came back strong on Thursday. I mean, guys were bowling well, batting well. So I think it's a one-off lose. It won't happen again. We look forward to Fishhook in the next round.
Good, because that was a top of the log clash, and some controversy coming out of that match. No doubt adding to the feels that's happening in the club. Got young Joshua Morris on screen there. The second in the club this season being Mankads. What the hell is going on, gents?
So the Mankads, I don't think is a black and white rule, unfortunately. I think it's a highly controversial rule in cricket because, unpopular opinion, I think it should be in the game, because if your batsman is running down the wicket every ball to get quick runs, I think you're more than welcome to Mankad. The issue I have with it is that when bowlers trick the batsman kind of thing, so they pretend to bowl the ball and then run the guy out when the guy's walking down the wicket at the same time as the bowlers should have been bowled the ball. In terms of club cricket, my personal opinion is that it should never be acceptable in club cricket unless the batsman, like I said, is charging down the track. I don't think it's of the club sportsmanship or club geest that club cricket is known for. I think it's when the game's on the line, like you're about to win a World Cup or something, cool. Then do whatever by any means necessary win. But when it comes to club cricket, I am not a fan of it. I don't advocate for it.
Well, we saw over the English summer, if I'm not mistaken, in the women's match, the Indian bowler actually did a Mankad for India to win the series. And I'm going to bring in the Anderson Cooper Sports 24 Lloyd Bernard in here. In a professional sport, if it's within the rules, great, do it. But are we looking at club cricket in a different light, or spirit of the game? What's the chat there, Lloyd?
I'm not actually sure. I'm quite on the fence with it. But what I do know, and we Two's played on Sunday, 24 hours after Josh's Mankad, and one of the chats we had before our game was, listen, regardless of what side you're on, you've got to be ready for it. I mean, it's happened to our club twice this season now. We as a club, as a team, made a commitment that we will never do it to anybody on the field. If someone's stealing massive ground, you give them a warning and then carry on to kind of stop them doing that. But we will never strategically employ a Mankad to get a wicket. We back ourselves to get wickets in other ways. But at the same time, you have to be ready for the possibility of it happening to you. It is within the rules of the game now, and someone can do it. We've seen it twice in 5 weeks. It probably won't be the last time it happens to us this season. So there needs to be an accountability and a responsibility as well to also be a bit better prepared for it. I know that sounds crazy to say because it's the last thing you're looking out for when you're out in the middle, but these are the realities facing us at the moment and facing everyone. I think there've been other Mankads around club cricket, different venues as well in the first.
I was just about to say, did you see that video out of Australia?
Oh, that guy was upset there.
Very simple, tiny cross.
So I just think let's accept that it's coming, be prepared for it, and when it happens to you, have a little moan for it for a couple of minutes, and then brush it off and move on, because it's now part of the game. It's happening more and more. So I think the better prepared you are for it, the better.
As one of the original members of the Angry Warthog Club, I'll just say recommendation is make sure that your rage is contained within the change room. So don't throw your bat until you're in the change room. That way we still look like a professional club.
Kenny, with the grey in your beard, as you were saying, one of the original members, I was thinking you were in the game with old Mankad himself, but thankfully you continued speaking.
So my memory's not as good as it used to be, so maybe I was in that game and don't even remember. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, it led to a bit of a sour taste in our mouths, I guess, from the Wednesday out in Fishhook, passports in hand. So they ultimately also falling to a 2-wicket loss on the day. They just couldn't get the last two sticks, unfortunately. But it goes like that. As Calvyn mentioned, we'll get them in the return fixture.
Going to be a big game.
We've done this intentionally, ending off with the Miracle Men, the twos, Lloyd Bernard's team. They were back at home on Sunday as they hosted our neighbours, Polesmore Cricket Club. And as mentioned, after 3 club losses over the weekend, it was big for the twos to continue their winning streak. Lloyd, take us through the game. How did it go for you and your boys?
Yeah, no, very chuffed, Griggles. Fifth BP win in a row of the season leaves us top of the log by just a couple over Mitchell's Plain. But again, very clinical. I think that was really nice. It was the first time this season we've been able to give the guys a bat first. We've bowled first every game before this. And one toss and had a bat. Nice to give the top order some time out there, who have all been, in pretty good touch. Really, it's a difficult top order to crack now if you're batting outside of that top 6 because guys are in the runs. Jesse David's got a bit of a rough LBW call from Jesse Raji there. There's some video footage of that floating around. A bit high, a bit of a glove onto pad, a lot going on there. But Jesse panicked a bit and the finger went up. But no, the boys batted very well. Ryan Fanikak, just a very measured, very pretty 63. Some very nice shots in that innings, including 1 over with 4 glorious fours all around the ground, taking 16 off one of their seamers.
We've got him going to his 50 on screen here.
Yes,
so
right.
Talk of the club.
I umpired a large portion of his knock, and I can say it was a very good knock. You maybe get dropped once or twice, or you look scratchy in the beginning or something like that in the innings. From beginning to end, he didn't get dropped, batted well, played straight, put away every bad ball that was bowled at him. It was a very mature knock.
And I think we finished on about 215, which I felt at the time was a bit below par, but ended up being more than enough. A nice little 40 knot from Rushdie Gideon, who's also in some pretty good touch at the moment. And then just very clinical with the ball. I think we ended up winning by about 90 odd 100 runs. For another BP, Jesse Caswell, with a very impressive 4 for 20 odd and 7, or 6 rather. Was the leading wicket taker. There was 2 for myself. Jamie Davids is bowling very well. He got another stick. Russell Garman's bowling very well. He got another stick. There was a run out in there somewhere, and then Craig Lawrence has also stepped up with the new ball, and he bowled beautifully. I mean, the one area of the Frankfurt is misbehaving a bit at the moment, and it's not really getting up. And you still got to land it in that area. And Craig was just flipping good. I mean, it's probably probably spell of the season. I reckon bowled a lefty beautifully through the gates, and another comfortable one. It was important to win. I think we did feel it a bit after the 3 Ls on Saturday. Said once or twice to a few of the boys, can't remember the last time there were 3 teams who lost at this club on the same day. I think it's been years now, actually, since that's happened. So there was a bit of pressure on there. But this team is just, probably a combination of being able to play a bit longer cricket in 45 overs and the type of players we've got there. Marky Hendricks also with the return to form with 32. They just, suit that kind of format, and there's just very good players in that group at the moment that are doing well, and a few of them, I think, pushing hard for 1 spots, as Ryan was rewarded with this weekend, and very well deserved given the form he's been in. So very chuffed. Another win. Lots of hard work to do. Tough game this weekend away to Belleville. It's the first time we'll play a kind of top half of the log team, so that'll be a big test for us, but given the way we're going, I think we can be optimistic.
Well, speaking about given the way you're going, did you, with Ryan being in the form that he's in, talk of the club, did he come over, did he saunter over to you looking for a bowl?
Burning question of the club.
Yeah, there were a few spectators down as well, and when the game was won, they were saying, just give the people what they want. This is what we came for. Give the all round the nuts. But no, listen, Ryan, was barely able to reach his ankles after his 63. He was standing there at cover, and when the ball was coming to him, it was a long way down. For a man who does that much CrossFit. So. No, the man was in a bit of pain, and it was also just a nice opportunity to give Marky a bowl, which worked out okay. Look, Ryan, the less Ryan bowls, I think the better for everyone. We always have.
You heard it here first, gents. Let us know what you think about that comment in the comments.
I think we keep that in the back of our minds whenever we're out there. No, he's doing bloody well. I mean, who would have thought that he would emerge as an all-rounder? And he does get quite handy, particularly in 45-over cricket with the over rate. When we need those oaks to just get through overs a bit quicker. So he will come back into play, but unfortunately Sunday wasn't the day.
Thanks, Lloyd. Like a standard news article of yours, extremely long and winded. Thanks, Bugger. We all just browse through that, and I'm sure Peter will cut out plenty of it. It was an honor to play with the seconds on Sunday. Thanks for letting me play. I enjoyed it. Your captaincy is, honestly, it's a delight. I see they've pulled you up to captain the ones on Saturday. How are the nerves, Bugger?
No, an emotional few days, to be honest. It's a huge honor. Really just is. Obviously, big shoes to fill with Bryden out, and given what the ones have done over the last season and a half and where they're going, is not lost on me at all. But no, very chuffed. I mean, just a huge honor. The club's given me so much over the last 7 years. I've given the club a lot over the last 7 years. So if I said it wasn't a special moment, I'd be lying. It is just a game of cricket, and everyone else seems quite relaxed about it. But it was a big moment for myself, and looking very forward to it. Yeah, I mean the pressure's on. You don't want to drop the ball with Big Bryden out.
How many first-team players have slipped into your DM since you've been announced?
No, listen, I've told everyone to stay loose. We're in the market. We're in the market for a 6th bowler. And everyone's going to be.
And then also like a Premier League manager who's just moved to another team. Were any of the second guys coming to you and saying, "Hey, Shirley, mate, if you're skipping now, call me up"?
No, none of that just yet. Just love from everyone. I think the twos are on their own mission this weekend with a big game and backing Rusty Gideon to see them home.
Is Ryan going to bowl for the ones?
There is no chance.
What? I mean,
writing
give the people what they want in a 1D.
Ryan's the only oak I haven't told to stay loose for the weekend.
I don't think I was ever told to stay loose either.
Perfect, gents. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Insightful chat. Massive weekend ahead. And we're just going to go through a few quick-fire questions. So I've got both. Is Madeiras or Pirates?
Pirates.
Madeiras.
Favorite away venue?
Western Province.
got to be Western Province, the Gary Kirsten Oval.
Saying Ronda Bosch Cricket Club in the background.
Best player you have played with?
Sure, that's a big question to ask.
Big five.
Alex Borodin.
Oh, big shout out to Alex there.
I mean, I guess non-injured Bryden's got to be there.
Bryden takes it. Last question, gents. Loosest teammate you've played with?
Leighton Peck.
Six-pack himself.
Lloyd Bernard.
Gents, thanks very much for joining us on Seeing Off the New Ball. It was a pleasure to have you guys on as guests, and no doubt we'll see you again very soon. Best of luck for the weekend.
Thanks
all.
Cheers,
yeah,
James.
good luck, guys.
So for pulling through.
Again, congratulations to Lloyd and Ryan for the first call up. I'm sure you guys have a good time there. And good luck to the rest of the teams as well. GG, that 50. Bring it home, boy.
It was great to have some guests on, some more banter, some more chat, not just you and me, Greg, having to carry the show on our shoulders. Greg, I've noticed since you've moved over to Malaysia, is it Malaysia?
Yeah.
You used to put a full glass in your mouth and put your lips over it, and now I see you drinking out of a straw. How things have changed.
How things have changed.
Just show the lads how you drink your iced coffee now.
Yes, they're iced coffees.
And then now show the lads what you used to do.
No, this is Olympic size.
It's a family show. It's a family.
I'll have one ready for 3 wins this weekend on the next episode of the pod, ready to go in celebration of a massive BCC weekend. That's it. What a week we've got ahead of us. New ones captain, Ryan in yellow. Big performance from Rush in the 2s coming up with the 3s, bringing up the rear. Massive weekend. The 4s have stood down for this weekend. So, Calvyn, who's your best individual performance of the week?
Best individual performance, I think, would go to Ryan. I think the call-up is due. I think it's deserved. I don't think this is just a Porgees call-up. I think this is a well-deserved call-up. And on his home ground, I couldn't have asked for anything better.
And I agree with you. Individual performance of the week goes to Ryan. But safe to say, team of the week, the Miracle Men, the 2s.
Yeah, carried it through.
Massive weekend. Have a good one out there.
Cheers.